This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the DAZN. Third time lucky. Mr. Shalom, good to see you, my friend. Are we still taking credit for you turning up to Cash vs Denny last week?
Oh, it was one of the, I think people could tell by the way I reacted, it was one of the best nights I've had in British boxing, I have to say. It was unbelievable. It was expected, but I think it went better than I thought. I think Tyler performed better than I thought. I think he settled everyone's nerves in the first, second round, and then it was just enjoyable. It's rarely boxing is enjoyable when you've got a guy in the ring, but when he was on form like that, it was a great night, a great story, and obviously the fairy tale continues as well.
Yeah, and the little subplot of you and Eddie meeting as well. Have you spoken since? I know it was only, 3-4 days ago, but have you had any contact with Eddie since?
No, not spoken since, but I think it has opened the door, and I think everyone's like comfortable, and there's so many fights that can be made, and they have been, members of the team's been speaking to each other about certain fights, things like that. So it looks good, and it was definitely I think a watershed moment for us to go onto a matchroom show like that, and yeah, I think it's going to lead to some good things.
I think the place we're at in British boxing and in world boxing right now, if you were to look 18 months ago, you would have never believed some of the stuff we've seen. Francis and Ngannou fighting our two top heavyweights, the massive involvement of Riyadh season. You, Mr. Frank Warren, Mr. Eddie Hearn, all in the same building today. It's good, but it is a bit bizarre. You have to admit it's a bit bizarre.
It is weird. Like this is weird. Usually you're doing your own show, you're calling your own shots, everything's whatever. But for the sport, it's unbelievable. And to be honest, it is amazing. It's amazing to be involved. As I say, Saturday was unbelievable. Had a great night, and then we're going to have a huge night as well on September 21st. And yeah, it's good to. I think because so many fights are being made, the reality is everyone needs each other to make the big fights. Everyone's got guys that they've invested in, and we've had to be patient with our guys. We've had to build a stable from scratch. So it's only now that they come into the point where the big fights can be made, and it's exciting. And I think the rest of the year is going to be a great ride, really, because a lot of the fighters are ready for big fights, and it's going to happen. And yes, it's weird, but it's good. And I think every promoter. Well, certainly when we started, we did want this. It's just was so hard to break it down. And even Saturday night probably has happened due to the influence of Riyadh season, even though they had nothing to do with it. And so something's changed. Things have been broken down. Everyone's thinking a bit differently, and the fighters are being rewarded.
Yeah. I remember you turning up to what was then the BT studios, now the TNT studios, for Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce. You and Frank were both on the top table for that, I think, launch press conference that day. What's your relationship like with Frank? Have you met since that?
Look, I think that was a sign of intention for us. Like we really wanted to work with other promoters. We went over.
That was early days.
It was early
Boxer
days.
And Sky.
Queensbury, we had Top Rank. We did Wasserman stuff, and we really did try. And look, we did that show. I think we've done 2 or 3 fights with Queensbury, and there's never really been an issue there. It's just sometimes things don't work out, or the opportunities don't come. But obviously, as I say, we had to be patient with our stable over the past 2 years, build them, get them to the point where they can be in the big fights. And obviously there's 2 Boxer Queensbury fights on September 21st, which is big. But yeah, good relationship, and I think the main thing is business can get done, and that's the positive thing for fans.
Mate, I love it. Everyone friends for now. You mentioned the 2 big fights, Tyler, Denny. After what was a brilliant win at the weekend, we spoke afterwards, and you said how you turned him down as a fighter to be involved in one of the boxer tournaments. Now he's fighting at Wembley Stadium against Hamza Shiraz, who is one of the most highly touted middleweights, not just in Britain, in the world. Yeah. It's a brilliant fight. It's cross-promotional. It's at the National Stadium. This is a real banger. It's
a ridiculous fairy tale. Like 2 years ago, I think he beat River Wilson Bent in the rematch, which was the English title. That was the first fight on a boxer show. Since then, it's been 6 wins many unbeaten fighters, and then it culminated on Saturday, and it's like, wow, where does this story end? Then I start talking to George and Spencer Brown about the possibility of the Hamza
Is this on
Shiraz.
Sunday?
This is on Sunday. And I'm thinking, I can't tell Tyler, because until this is signed, until this is done, this is too ridiculous. You know, it's too ridiculous. We started on 10-gram fights, 5-gram fights, and they've got to this point. And I remember sitting down with Errol Johnson and Tyler Denny in our office, working out how we were going to split the 40 grand to make sure that Tyler was saving as much money as possible, and, you know, with accounting and things like that. And he's got 4 kids, and we've always, like, for us, it was always, right, let's get him the European title, because then someone's going to fight him. So we'll invest in that. Did we think it'd get to this? It's fucking ridiculous. And it's literally like winning the lottery for Tyler. Like, it really is. And he knew something was going on, and myself and Errol were like, we can't say anything, because it's just too, you say it, and then it doesn't happen. And you know, it's too unrealistic. I spoke to him this morning. He says he feels like he's in a dream, right? And so it's a ridiculous purse for him. It's a life-changing opportunity. And to be honest, that sort of story in British boxing is one of a kind. It's a modern classic story. And now he fights at Wembley Stadium against Hamza Shiraz, defending as the champion his European title. And he's always been written off, and he'll be written off in this fight as well. But he's got a chance, and we believe he can do it. And but unbelievable. Just a feel-good story, and amazing to be involved in. Amazing to see it grow to this point. Is, as I say, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Mate, it wouldn't be a Tyler Denny fight without everyone completely writing him off beforehand. So long may that continue till the build-up, and I reckon we're going to get a banger. Push for time, because the press conference is about to start, but obviously got to talk about Joshua Buatsi and Willie Hutchinson. Really good fight, and I think two styles that will have... It might blow hot and cold in pockets, but I think when they do go at it, I think it could be a really, really entertaining fight.
Look, let's be honest. Before the Craig Richards fight, I think people have said maybe not a mismatch, but you know, Josh should be levels above. But Willie performed so well. I think it's put the whole division on notice. But in the end, Buatsi wants the big fights. But when the interim world title got ordered, you know, this was too big an opportunity as well. And he's been long considered the most talented light heavyweight in the country. It's another domestic fight for him. It's another chance to prove it, but it's one step closer to the world title, to the big fights. And I think I'm very confident that he's going to show everyone why he is the number one, and another great opportunity, and hopefully big nights to come as well.
Yeah. Just one more thing, actually, while we're here. Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark 2 was a fight rumoured to be on this card. I guess a positive for you in the sense that if the fight is to happen, that's a big main event that you could put on Sky Sports as one of your own shows, but a fight we're not going to see on this massive bill at Wembley.
I think a lot of people just felt that that's a fight that sells out any arena in the country, and it's box office in itself, and it's a huge heavyweight. And I think for fans, they're going to, you know, fingers crossed that fight happens next, and they're going to have 2 huge domestic heavyweight clashes, 2 big nights to look forward to. And hopefully in the next few days we'll have some news on that. But yeah, that's the fight we want for Fraser, and we believe that will be next.